Open up, Colorado. It's 420. Time to grind and burn.
This is not your son's stoner show.
Welcome to the Cannabis Community Project with Brainstorm. Once again, bringing you your weekly podcast from the CCP studios high up in Denver, Colorado. Here exploring the business side of this newly emerging Colorado economy, focusing on the business, the patient, the user, to the retailer, to the geek in the garage, creating that next innovation in cannabis. This is the first media platform to help fellow cannapreneurs build sustainable businesses while living the lifestyle.
Skunk Box is a rugged, travel-sized herbal humidor that's water-resistant, odorless, and nearly indestructible. It stores your herbs and restores them too. Order yours online today at skunk-box.com, where you can choose from different models and even customize them to meet your needs.
I'm back and ready to roll this week. How are you doing, cannapreneurs, friends, family, followers, newcomers, listeners, vendors, everybody else part of the community that is a stakeholder in this show? How are you doing this week? I'm so glad to be back and so glad to have my voice back. Temporarily lost it, not from doing anything too crazy, just came down with a little bit of sickness and lost my soothing tonal voice. But thank you very much to Ashley Marie. What a great job she did. Thank you for stepping in at the last minute. She literally stepped in at the last minute with almost no preparation, did those segments that were lacking from last week's show. What a wonderful job. And she also had some great connections, personal connections to Alex White Plume and the whole hemp industry. Do you know who Ashley is? Everybody knows who Ashley is, right? Maybe you've heard her by a different last name. Just hold on one second.
My name is Ashley Weber, and I am here to educate people on the medical properties of both cannabis and hemp. I set court precedent for people living in Section 8 and not being able to use medical marijuana due to it being Scheduled 1. I'm proud to just be here and support hemp and learn more about it.
There you go. You up to speed now? Now everybody knows who Ashley is. You know, if we can get moving along, you might hear her or both of us on Greenlight Radio 93.5, Boulder's own pirate radio. Trying to come up with a good show, a good format, and a good time to do that. Still working towards that goal. There's a couple other shout outs I want to give thanks to this week. Who else? You know, YF, who else? Young Fate. Hey, Young Fate's also going to be hosting the party today as you're listening to this show down in the Colorado Springs area for the CCP community members. He and I put together a little shindig with a little bit of music, a little bit of food, and all of the other goodies that you would be expecting from a Cannabis Community Project show. We're partying down in the Springs right now while you're listening to this, but I want to give a big thanks to him for helping us out, putting in his efforts in the midst of a very busy schedule. You're going to want to keep an eye on him. Remember that name, YF, who else? Young Fate. He is an up-and-coming performer, voted Colorado's best rapper. Beat out, well, I don't even want to name drop because I might mess it up and make people very, very angry, but he beat out some pretty big names in a competition some months back, and he just came back into town from California doing some, well, maybe some negotiations, maybe some meetings, rubbing elbows with the big wigs. We'll let him tell us all about it, but thank you for being part of this community, and thank you to everyone else who has participated and hung out with us. Thank you to the newcomers. Wow, I'm just full of thanks today. I'm feeling very, very thankful. Sometimes that's just what we got to do, right? We got to step back and say thanks. Maybe even thanks to people who will never hear our thanks and have no idea how they've affected us. Like, here's a bit of news. Matter of fact, let me tell you some great news. Good news! Do you remember some time back when we talked about the patent troll and how one of my unknown mentors, Adam Carolla from the Adam Carolla podcast, was fighting the patent trolls almost personally. He raised a lot of money, I don't know, $600,000 some dollars for legal fees. He got $50 of my money because I'm a podcaster, and that gives us a binding relationship whether he knows it or not. So his battle against personal audio was really a battle for all of us down the line. I did a couple segments on the shows, I don't know, 3-4 some months back, and just got news the other day that the patent trolls are dead. That's right, dead. The U.S. Patent Office has revoked a few parts of Personal Audio's patent, allowing podcasting in an RSS form or an automatically updating feed to no longer be considered coveted, protected patent material. So the floodgates are open. Podcasting is the new medium, even if Howard Stern doesn't quite understand what's going on. But let's not be confused. Podcasting is not radio, and it's not really supposed to take over radio. It's just the new medium. And thanks to Adam's very expensive fight and very aggressive fight, winning the battle for all of us, we can now all hedge forward into this unknown but very exciting world, and you all get to be here with me. So thank you. Thank you very much, because I love hearing these stories. I love hearing about every business and every individual out there, and they don't all have to be businesses, just like last week's show. Remember that one with Chris, our super hemp advocates who lived for 3 months off of nothing but hemp powder alone in a camper out in the middle of nowhere, no running water, no electricity. Just shows the power of hemp. Well, we heard his story. I want to give you just a couple minutes right now to remember what that was all about, and then we're going to move into this week's show where we talk to another great entrepreneur, up-and-coming business, Disposal Bowls. That's right, you heard me, Disposal Bowls. Lauren, CEO of Disposables, is going to give us her story of their up-and-coming business, and I'll let you learn all about it. I met her just a couple weeks ago at the Canopy event up in Boulder, and that's where I'm going back this week to talk to more businesses. So hopefully I'll have months and months of material to bring you various individuals and their businesses. But until we get to all those stories, let's quickly do our short-term memory flashback relapse to last week's show. Here we go.
My name is Chris Farnwell. I grew up in Michigan, and I got involved in the newspaper business. So I ended up traveling all over the world for over a decade, all through South Central America, Asia, working. And that was a very good education on how the world works and the differences in cultures and stuff like that. And it also was a bit of a wake-up call to see how people culturally are and how the control mechanisms in each country, how it's done. And so I ended up becoming a bit of an activist here in Colorado and learning about how the world works and stuff like that. I didn't think I want to get into hemp or anything. I just ate what was easy, and I was able to facilitate being a single bachelor very easily because all I had to do was clean out my mayonnaise jar. The only plant source with more protein than hemp is soy. But you don't want to eat soy.
Yeah, soy has its own issues.
Big problems, especially when you get to GMO, which is 95% of the soy. If you put a bunch of GMO soy in a trough, hogs will walk up to it and turn their nose up and walk away and not even eat it. And so I use that as anecdotal evidence that the stuff just isn't good food. Exactly. It's like they're smarter than humans, you know? So we get to the conference with this straw bale, and they stole it from me. It was gone. So I went from kook to hero, in about a couple hours. And it was kind of funny. When I actually went to a number of farmers and had them all fired up, they chickened out right when it came time to grow.
Because there's something else there. There's some other pressure. That's
correct.
It's a social, cultural something. There's a different pressure. I'm excited because it's so easy now with technology. Now that we actually have the technology to build machines to do production
of things, etc.
100 years ago, it was very difficult to cultivate and break down hemp, and you had to have these crazy machines, and it was very tiring, and it broke people physically. But now that we have technology, we have 3D printing. How much easier is it going to get to take point A to point B, you know, and make it into everything in the house. I'm waiting for liquid hemp to go through a 3D printer where you can just 3D print from liquid hemp. That take a plant, put it in a little machine and a blender, you know, mix a little liquid jar, put it in your 3D printer, and you're ready to start producing your whatever.
It's coming.
Yeah, I mean
that is coming.
And stuff we can't even think of yet. Very cool.
Yeah.
So this could be potentially one of the first prototypes that we see in homes, like a toaster, microwave, coffee maker?
Potentially. Industrial hemp. There's such a plethora of things that you can do with it that it's hard to even focus on one subject. It's crazy. There are so many things that you can do with this stuff. Now, when you realize that if we had industrial hemp and we don't even need petroleum, that's hard for people to understand, but it's actually the reality. What that means is we can grow all the hemp we want, and we don't have that problem of trying to get rid of toxic byproducts because there's nothing toxic about it whatsoever, not one part of it. What's left after you press that seed oil is 53% protein, the most highly digestible protein in the vegetable kingdom. What the hell are we doing? There's something screwy going on there.
I think that's a great quote to end on. I appreciate it, man. That was great. That was a great conversation. We're going to definitely have to do it again.
Oh, I'm happy to.
This show is streamed live from CCP Studios, but we can also do it via Skype, phone, and possibly some other technology ways. Let's just get you on the show. So if you have an idea, you have a business, maybe a product you've been thinking about, contact me. Brainstorm at cannabiscommunityproject.com. Thanks to all of our sponsors, and this week we're highlighting Dairy Berry's Recording Studio. Find him at dairyberriesrecordingstudio.com or call Mark at 303-456-8216. Read this sentence. I wish I had someone with whom I could share...
How about, I wish I had someone I could share more weed with.
Like more smoking partners?
Yeah, I wish I had more people that were open to the thought of cannabis being a drug and instead being a right.
Like, do you feel like the world is going to look at you negatively?
Don't be loaning no bongs around here.
Not anymore. Now that we're in Colorado, we can say bong.
No. I went to the head shop. Head shop still can't say it. You still get in trouble. If you go inside and say the word bong in the head shop, they still have to kick you out.
You can catch me on a mission. Ambition is my drug, and I ain't dissing competition. I ain't tripping over love. So who are you to judge? I'm just trying to make a living, and I'm trying to take advantage opportunities I'm given. And I gotta pay tuition for my 3 little kids and buy my mother a crib and do things I never did. So I gotta handle this and put in overtime work. And I gotta feed my kids, and so I gotta grind first. Gets lonely at the top is what my pops always told me. And to keep my circle small and gotta watch out for my homies. So I'm chilling by my lonely myself. I trust only, and they smile at me first, and now they throwing dirt on me. Everybody think they know me in this world today. Ever since I seen success, associates and friends are different, so you know I got even less.
Now put your paper where your mouth is and be about it. I ain't blind to the facts, so I'ma see about it. You're damn right, I'ma see about it. I'm so DEF, cause I'm a G about it. Paper where your mouth is and be about it. I ain't blind to the facts, so I'ma see about it. You're damn right, I'ma see about it. I'm so DEF, cause I'm a G about it.
Flipping up the rhythm once again so smooth. Welcome some up-and-comers with nothing to prove. I'll be that F-dot, A-dot, I die. T for all in trouble is the acronym. Who am I? Well, that depends. I am just a lonely soul walking down the bumpy road, drenching wet from sin. I do not need to explain what is plain. Intelligence seems to be placed in the cage when the Dutchess wrote and birth. Could I just become a mental fossil? Gotta dig it up. Life is great. Weed is good. It's all awesome. I don't think I could give it up. West side represent, put the money all in, all over the world and back again. Back and forth, one time for the east side, two times for the west side, one time for the north side, one time for the south side. Lyrically, deliberately killing
now
any
put your paper where
delivery.
your mouth is and be about it. I ain't blind to the facts, so I'ma see about it. You're damn right, I'ma see about it. I'm so DEF, cause I'm a G about it. Paper where your mouth is and be about it. I ain't blind to the facts, so I'ma see about it. You're damn right, I'ma see about it. I'm so DEF, cause I'm a G about it.
Check.
Hello, this is Lauren.
Hi, Lauren. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good.
My name is Lauren Ely. I am with Disposables. We are the pipes that are designed to be sold pre-filled and branded with refill pods currently under development. We have been in development for the past year. Essentially, I recently was able to develop my product and have it manufactured. So we've just done our prototype run. So currently we're seeking investment to get our refill pods developed and hit some dispensaries.
And this was the one that was made out of ceramic, right? It was the ceramic pipe that had the cap on the top?
Exactly. It's a child-proof cap on the end, and it's made out of ceramic. It's manufactured in West Virginia.
Nice. And when you say disposable, is it meant to be used once and thrown out? That type of disposable?
No, that's a great question. We actually have, the reason they're called disposables is our refill pods will be the disposable part. The pipes can be reused again and again, and because we have those branding abilities, we can use them for, they'd be excellent gifts as well as commemorative pieces for either your favorite strain or if you go to a wedding at some point. So the disposable part will be our refill pods.
Nice. Who came up with this idea? Is this yours?
It is. I mean, basically, I've had a lot of wonderful people join the team. The initial concept was a friend of mine and myself, and then it's come so far since that initial spark, though.
Are you the designer on it also?
No, basically, I worked with an engineer or two who had a great deal of experience with packaging and manufacturing design. I hooked up with them. They did the design work, and then we sent them to the manufacturer. So I had some people with professional knowledge do it with me. I mean, we explored the concept together.
Did you have to acquire a patent or any type of intellectual property rights?
My lawyer is working on our patent right now. We're still under our grace period, but they will be filed soon.
Cool. So this is going to be like a real product and all. Are you selling it from a store or just online?
We were into dispensaries, and the thing is the public just is unaware of us, and we're a brand new product. No one's ever seen anything like it before. You know, we kind of look kind of strange. And the sales weren't there because the public didn't know who we were. So that's why I wanted to pull off the market, perhaps put some more money into advertising, telling our story, getting the word out there. At that point, maybe make some partnerships with a dispensary that serves the type of market we're looking for. And at that point, we'll be going into more of a partnership with a higher marketing clout behind us so the customers are aware of, what we do.
It does have a unique design. I'm sure you have some photos up on Facebook or a website somewhere where we can take a look at. But just briefly, what is the concept behind the design? Did you go out looking for something that would fit the screw-on cap? Is that what came first? Or is there something else behind the design?
That's a great question. Initially, our concept was, we just wanted to be able to sell the convenience of a pipe that was already preloaded. And so I initially looked the market to see what was out there already. And there are disposable pipes, there's also you can get some of the cheap Chinese glass that's just manufactured in bulk overseas. And none of those really served our purpose. So we wanted to hold a higher volume of cannabis because the problem we're addressing is cannabis consumption while you're on the go. we're looking to replace the apple core or the, heaven forbid, the aluminum can, which is, will give you Alzheimer's, we're finding out. But, we've all had that dilemma where we go and we're not where we normally smoke with our beautiful $300 bong, which is not the experience you'll have with disposable. But we wanted something really perfect for, on-the-go consumption when you're going to be visiting friends or seeing a show or out hiking or whatever.
Nice. And I remember the design being very durable and being the ceramic. It didn't heat up. I got the chance to use it just last week at the Canopy event. It was very cool, and I think the ceramic had a lot to do with that. And it was also cool looking.
Well, thank you. The ceramic was done for a couple of reasons. Number one, we're a female-owned company. We're very committed to staying as local as possible. So we wanted to keep jobs in Colorado and jobs most in the United States. So we found this company in West Virginia who will manufacture these for us. And we also realized that we want to hit the tourist market for those people who are coming to Colorado for the cannabis tourism trade. A perfect solution for them. You can buy a pipe pre-filled, and then some of our refill pods even once they're developed. And then if they do want to dispose of the pipe itself before they cross state lines, we're environmentally neutral. So it's kind of like throwing away a rock. We're not going to be contributing to petroleum-based products in our landfills.
And it does have an anonymous look to it because it doesn't look like a traditional piece of paraphernalia, so it could easily be thrown in the back of a trunk or somewhere else and not be noticed or easily discovered in that sense.
Agreed, but hopefully that'll change too as we get bigger and bigger. We will be more and more recognized. We're trying to make sure people feel comfortable abiding the laws, and if they want to toss a disposable, it's not going to be throwing away some huge plastic nasty thing.
What is the current price of the disposable?
Right now, like I said, we're not on the market. We really want to get our refill pods under development because that way people will be, oh, these aren't disposable. Oh, yes, but here's the refill pods that are. We're looking at a retail price point of about $20 to $25. So again, kind of looking at that gifting market too, if you have a cannabis lover in your life who you'd like to purchase a birthday or a Christmas gift for.
And these are coming pre-filled, you said? So you're actually providing cannabis with the...
No, well, let me talk about the pre-filled. We're essentially going to be a wholesaler to the dispensaries. We're not licensed for cannabis. We don't touch like disposables. My company, we don't touch cannabis. So if you're buying them pre-filled, you will be able to purchase them through a dispensary with a license, and they will pack it with their licensed personnel in their facilities. We're looking at, in terms of being able to order online, we've got the branding abilities. So if you're looking for maybe some branded pieces for your wedding, that's coming soon. And we're looking at kind of ordering them online since, without the cannabis, there is a ceramic piece.
So if you're just a few months into this process and you haven't actually hit the market yet, what is the next 12 months projection with your marketing plan and money that you're anticipating on needing?
Well, this is kind of, we're in a great deal of flux right now. We're talking to a couple different companies in terms of manufacturing. We have some numbers that we're asking for in terms of investment. We're going to be asking for about $100,000. And then that really is kind of just to get our marketing and to secure the right type of dispensary. We're definitely looking at a specific market, and that market would probably be the 30-plus market, the professional individual who might have a little bit more money to spend because this is, it's a premium product. You're going to be paying a little bit extra for that convenience of the prepackaged. So we're looking for those people with disposable incomes. I'm going to be looking for dispensary partners, services type of areas, or perhaps someplace like near a concert venue or a smoking-friendly venue. We're going to use that money to build those relationships. There is a company that's doing very similar work to what we're doing, so we're negotiating with them in terms of building our refill pods. But that's still kind of in the works, so I don't want to say too much about that.
Nice. Is this just you, or are you working with a team of people? What's the size of your business right now?
We've got 3 people on the disposable staff. We've got a 4th person that we just brought about to help us with our marketing. It's me, my COO, who handles kind of the business operations, making sure that the accounting's taken care of, the legal's taken care of, things like that. And her name's Rachel. And then Adam is our just kick-ass social media guy, and he has got a presence for us on Twitter for a product that isn't even on the marketplace yet. So he's just amazing.
Nice. And are you going to stay locally concentrated or immediately try to expand? What is the geographic plan?
We're definitely looking to start off since we're based in Erie. So I'm real close to Boulder. I'm real close to Denver. So absolutely we're looking to stay local. and kind of get the bugs ironed out. We want to probably find a really good dispensary partner first, and then work with them to improve our procedures, find out any flaws in the plans, make sure everything's ironed out so we're just not only a good company for the consumers, but also, as a vendor. We want to make sure we're servicing the dispensary needs too. So we want to stay local for that just because it's for convenience sake.
Will you be using some of your marketing funds for the Cannabis Cup?
Not this one coming up because, again, we don't grow flower and we're so new and it's kind of a big venue. Where we are going to be, however, for the 420 weekend is the Marijuana Investor Summit. We've got a table in their entrepreneur hallway. So if anyone is going to be there, we would love to talk to them. I'll have unloaded disposables there and they can come grab a sample from me. So that's kind of our next big step. It's important to us to meet smart money because our business model is more Ben & Jerry's than Walmart. We want to make sure our investor is in line with our company ethics as well as our vision.
Right, a little bit of social entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
You mentioned the Investor Summit. Let's make sure if people do want to find you there, they know exactly where to find you. Do you have the details on the location and times?
I know the summit itself runs the 20th through the 22nd. I believe it's at Crown Plaza, but the website is marijuanainvestorsummit.com. So check that out. There's going to be tons of great companies there, tons of highly influential individuals from the cannabis industry are speaking there. Even if you are not quite sure what your role is going to play, it's a great place to network.
Very cool. And that's here in Denver, you said, right?
Yes, Denver.
Okay.
Yep, a national conference, too.
Very good. We will try to make it to that. If not, hopefully some other people will stop by and take a look at what you got. Are you coming from a business background? Is this something that's right up your alley of experience?
No, I am not. Actually, my background is education. I taught science and I ran a library, so I've got some management skills running a library and school, but in terms of business, I kind of needed to hire where I was weak. My business partner has an MBA and she's got extensive background in human resources, and we've got some great mentorship going. One of the people in my board of directors, he started, up 4 businesses, and I'm dealing with, again, some private mentorship right now that we realize where we're weak, trying to make up for that. We'd love to have investors on board too who can maybe give us a little bit of guidance as we grow.
So what was the actual catalyst that took you from education to cannabis industry?
Well, we had a great idea. And plus, what a great industry. I think it's when you have an opportunity that's presented like this and an idea and you happen to be at the right place at the right time. And I think entrepreneurship just kind of suits my personality. You just got to pick up the ball and run with it. It's not like we have opportunities like this for a whole brand new industry and you're in my particular backyard every day.
So it was literally sitting with a couple friends, had an idea and said, well, I guess I'll just give up my past career and start a new one. It was just that black and white?
No. I had actually switched from teaching teachers. So I was doing some sort of educational training and sales with a company. And, it just wasn't really kind of making the ends meet. So I thought, oh, well, you know what? Maybe I'll kind of start like a little kind of small business on the side. This is how kind of naive I was going in and how much I've learned. I wanted something, like I said, kind of something fun. I have a passion for cannabis. I have a passion for social change. So this industry definitely wraps all of that together. And I'm thinking, hey, let's do kind of part-time, sell some extra money, have a vacation here and there. But every time we hit an obstacle in this journey, the only solution was to go bigger. In the first obstacle we've already discussed about there not being a product on the market already that was going to suit our needs. So we had to design and develop our own product. We could have chosen to give it up, my team and I, at that point, or we can decide to go bigger. So we decided to go bigger.
So this is your first business venture, but what is your past in cannabis? Are you a lifelong cannabis consumer? What is your experience from the cannabis industry?
Well, I'm definitely a recreational consumer for many, many, many years. I did mention I taught science. I did a lot of research when I have a master's degree in biology. I did one of my thesis papers on the endocannabinoid system, and of course, really piqued my curiosity is why is this illegal? What's going on here? And just you ask questions, and you realize kind of all of these injustices being created, and they come to the surface just by examining this one issue.
Did you feel obligated to have a discussion with your family and children, or was it just purely part of what was already in the environment where the transition was not awkward or required an explanation?
You know what? Actually, my kids were at the perfect age for this, really, since it became legal recreationally 2014. At that point, it was just, we decided I was just going to treat it just like alcohol, which someone coming from my generation, I'm a Gen X person, still there's things, oh my gosh, should I be doing this? Because we grew up under the reefer madness and all these things that I kind of tell myself from a logical standpoint, you know, my kids right now are in elementary school and middle school, and they're just going to grow up as normalized as I can possibly make it. And fortunately for us, we're growing up in Colorado. I mean, they absolutely have to know about it because they're here. They're here right now. They're upstairs. They hear me have so many business meetings. They see people come in and we're discussing finances. But to anyone who might critique that negatively, I'll be like, you're witnessing my boys seeing someone build a business. You're seeing what hard work it is and what is involved in building a business. So it just happens that this business is cannabis.
Absolutely. What are their ages?
My oldest is about to turn 12 and the little one's 10.
Very good. And what do you tell them about cannabis itself? Do you feel like there's a conversation that's needed at this point beyond the business aspect?
I think there's conversations about anything. This is what I stress to my children. Is before you put anything in your body, find out what that anything is. Is it aspirin? Aspirin's a drug because I'm trying to combat that whole drugs are bias thing, the DARE programs that we grew up. Aspirin's a drug. Caffeine's a drug. Nicotine's a drug. Which of these drugs have what effect on your bodies? And are the positives outweighing the negatives? Because this isn't just about cannabis. This is about my kids are going to be exposed to methamphetamine. My kids are going to be exposed to who knows what. Well, and prescription drug use for sure once they hit high school. They need to be able to make proper informed decisions about any substance that they are thinking about putting in their body. And I don't understand where the culture is keep it from the kids. Whoever thought that was going to be successful, it's just not.
Right. I grew up in the same era. I remember taking the DARE programs. I'm on board. What's more important is they see work being done, productive work being done. So what is a typical day like with your work? I assume this is a 7-day-a-week venture, right?
It is, and actually one of the reasons we need capital is it's becoming so. Definitely, we've all been putting in our time. I'm unpaid. My people are unpaid. But it's becoming to the point where we can't be unpaid anymore because it's taking more and more and more time from our other duties. I'm a single mom, so I've got fortunate enough to have a lot of help, but I'm also driving I'm driving an Uber cab. So thank you, Uber, it's just such a great opportunity to make money when you have time. So I think that's really good synergy. But again, it'd be nicer and more convenient for the business if I can devote 24/7 to.
There's no shame at all in Uber cab. We share that together as a common experience. I also do Uber because it helps make ends meet. I also do other part-time jobs that have nothing to do with cannabis, that have nothing to do with media production. But that's the reality of the world we live in, is the things we want to do don't necessarily pay right away.
Exactly.
There's no shame at all with being an Uber driver. Matter of fact, I would say being an Uber driver is a step up from being a taxi driver.
Actually, this day and age, I look at it as a step up from teaching because, you were asking about teaching. I didn't want to get too political, but it's not the profession it was when I entered about 15 years ago. There's many people who I used to teach with who are very unhappy. So the way I look at this is I'm actually more content and happy driving an Uber cab than I was the last couple of years in the classroom due to the pressures that are being put on educators these days.
I spend a lot of time in my car. I do a lot of driving. Uber, it's not great pay, but it's not that bad, and it's a way to let people be flexible so you can pursue other ventures like what I'm doing with my show, what you're doing with your company. Without these type of jobs, I don't know if this would really be possible because we might both be stuck in a 9-to-5 career due to lack of alternatives and flexibility in work. So you're definitely showing an example of what needs to be done to start a business. I mean, that entrepreneurs have to do everything they can to move their businesses forward. Do you yourself as an entrepreneur? Is that how you see yourself?
I do. I'm getting there. it's the entrepreneur I have no problem seeing myself at. It's the one that gets me is like when they ask me my title, which is officially CEO, that's the label that kind of sticks in the throat a little bit. Entrepreneur, yeah, that's what to me is a visionary. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that. It doesn't necessarily mean you're successful, but having an idea and a passion, so I'll take that. But
the title of CEO makes you uncomfortable because it feels like it's something corporate, or it feels beyond a title you should have at this point. What makes you uncomfortable about it?
It feels like definitely beyond what I have. My social media guy, I've mentioned it before. There's an episode of The Simpsons where they hire Homer to do some marketing work. And there's just a meme where the first one is like Homer's reading an advanced marketing book, and then next thing you see it in the trash can. Then you see basic marketing, and then you see that in the trash can. And the last frame has got Homer looking at marketing in the dictionary. And we joke, Adam and I, about that's how we are. We're learning our jobs as we go along. But I think also it keeps us humble, and we know that, like, if we have a good idea, there's always ways to improve our good ideas. So perhaps someone who has a little bit more of experience, maybe a little bit more of a cocksure attitude, might have a little bit more difficulty accepting advice or hearing that their ideas suck, whereas we're like, no, tell us how it sucks. Tell us how we can make it better. So
you're bringing up some good points, and especially about learning as you go, making decisions, wearing multiple hats. I mean, you have finite resources and people who are willing to donate their time at this point. You can't possibly know everything. You can't be a business guru, a marketing genius, a financial whiz. You can't possibly be everything. So how do you actually delegate decisions to those with confidence, and what decisions do you choose to make on your own?
It really, these are great questions, and these are questions that I kind of am still learning. In fact, as my team grows, it's a huge relief realizing that, hey, I don't have to make this decision anymore. Thank goodness, because I'm not the best person for it. So we're kind of a small enough team and we get along so well that right now, I don't think there's much of a hierarchy. It's more of like, okay, well, we'll talk about it and whose decision is best. Obviously, that we're going to need to come up with more formal structures as our business grows. But kind of with a small 4-person team, I think kind of open dialogue brainstorming is the best thing we have. And, I've certainly had people put me in my place as well, in a heated discussion as well as returns. But we also respect and appreciate what everyone's doing, and we're kind of carving niches for ourselves, so it's a work in progress.
Figuring out who's good at what and delegating those tasks to them.
And then realizing oh crap, none of us are good at this. This is where someone we might, and this is where we recruited Jessica, our newest member of our team who does marketing. We realized none of us were good at marketing. We need help, and so that's when we came in and we pulled in another person.
Some crucial decisions, especially when you're offering to bring somebody else in. Trust issues, right? Can you trust this person with the same passion that everybody else has, because they're kind of an outsider? They're coming in without that original foundation of being part of the spark of inspiration there. And there's a lot of trust that has to develop in really a short amount of time. Trust that's not really backed up with large paychecks. You got to build that rapport with somebody. How are you blending with a team and making sure that you don't self-destruct from within?
You know what? I almost would disagree. I think money can almost be a hindrance because, yeah, you're buying it. It's almost like who's going to fight for you, their homeland more? Someone who lives there or the mercenary? The mercenary is a paid sword. You've got to get someone with passion. So maybe I've been very lucky with the people who are so far been helping me because they're on board for the vision. It's certainly not because I can pay them anything. I think actually it will become a harder problem when you're looking at giving out paychecks and be like, okay, is this person it for the paycheck? But right now, everyone I have with on my team, I can 100% assure you they're on board with the vision because it's not the fat paycheck at this point.
Is there a kind of an agreement, whether written or verbal, that once this starts to grow, there will be a division of ownership or shares of interest?
Oh, yeah. No, that was kind of one of the initial steps. I've done my first round of fundraising in order to secure enough money to produce this prototype run. We're all set up with the SEC. We've got our initial shares distributed. Our friends and family round is closed, so now we're looking at angel funds. Next deals we make will be kind of issuing more stock for that angel funds. But the initial people, yes, it's all legal and outlined.
Right. I wasn't implying that it was illegal. I was just...
Oh, no. I should have meant my lawyers. I didn't mean to say it like that. I meant my legal team has written up the documents, I should say.
Right. Although I do talk to a lot of people that are doing things, off the books. It's just the nature of the industry. As it grows, there's a lot of businesses that are trying to grow within this industry that, don't have the resources or haven't found the right avenue to make a legal, legitimate business yet. But it's growing and things are changing. And what you're proposing of basically having a ready-to-go paraphernalia device, this could be pushing more lines of the envelope. What will the pushback be from the community? How will people respond to it, those inside and outside the industry? So these are all challenges that will be very interesting to follow, over the course of months and see how they develop and change and adapt and everything else.
I mean, it is like quicksand, this industry. Every time people think they've got something figured out, they're going to throw a new wall and a new adjustment. So, you've got to be pretty nimble and ready to adjust at the slightest provocation because you don't know what the next change is going to bring.
Do you feel like you need to secure this product on its own before expanding product development? Or are you looking at this from a company standpoint where you might actually need to have a few products in development just in case this specific one doesn't quite grab the traction that you anticipated?
We've done some beta tests, so, there's no point in going on to a second product. I mean, there's so many different places and options I can take this first product. One of the first things we did even before manufacturing was we did the Pot Pavilion last year and spoke to customers and we're asking them, what would you like? What do you need? I think this first product is going to be the foundation that we build upon and go out from there. Basically, we got some great feedback. Like, number one, I absolutely know, not that we were not planning this anyway, but the refill pods have to be as environmentally friendly as possible since our business model is Keurig, and we see that the person who invented Keurig having all the regrets right now for the landfill issue. So, that if we can solve that problem, and that's why I need that money, I think this is going to be our foundational product, and that point will spin out from there.
It's expected that refill will be disposed of, right? That's the whole point of it. So there will be some type of trash buildup somewhere.
Right, but we're looking to either mitigate that by, just like kind of drinking a soda bottle and throwing it in the recycling. Something in minimal packaging, something very clearly recyclable. Some of the things engineers and I are talking about, I don't know if they're going to be successful, but that's first and foremost on our mind developing these. Minimal environmental impact.
Right. I mean, I feel the same way when I have to go to a dispensary and they make you carry the bags out with you because everything has to be in some type of locking bag, and they sell you that cheap Ziploc bag, and then you end up just throwing it out. I buy these little CO2 cartridges, and then at the end of it, I'm like, oh, now it's just waste, something you got to throw out. I think more people are very conscious of that, so I applaud you for trying to work that in up front to your company. Maybe some type of something you can just smoke once it's done, right? Something that's made out of cannabis.
We had actually talked about like pressed hemp pipe. Wouldn't that be cool? But yeah, we need to launch something to say the concept is valid, and then we can ask for big money to develop that. But like I said, some of the ideas that we're tossing around with the people I've been speaking to about these engineering challenges, they're pretty cool. We just need to see if they're working because they're kind of baby ideas right now.
How do you get engineering advice? Do you find these people online? Do you put a Craigslist ad up? How do you find engineers?
Well, actually, the first engineer, he was working with a glass company I called up, and they referred him, so it was referrals. Now, however, I've gotten to the point where I've been networking like crazy because I'm discovering more and more how crucial that is, CEO role. In fact, it might even be kind of your number one job because you are going to have all these needs, and you need to have people you can trust, like you mentioned, to fulfill these needs as your business grows. Some of the people I'm talking to right now, I've actually met through cannabis events, and that's going to be kind of my go-to source when I need people who's showing up at these events. I saw you at the Canopy Boulder one. It's not just about making money. It's about how do you make an ethical industry. So I want people on board with this as well who come and want to build a good industry as well. Those will be good people. You can start out with at least one or two steps towards trust right there.
Right. And one of the great things about this industry is that people are interested in multiple bottom lines, whereas many industries, it's just about the money and the profit. I think in this industry, maybe not exclusively, but definitely in this industry, people are willing to look at a business model and say, what are our goals here besides profit? Obviously, profit is a goal, but what else are we going for? So I think this is the perfect industry to really set an example for other industries of how to rearrange your business model and take that social entrepreneur outlook on things and realize that there are multiple bottom lines that exist. And that's not just for a company, but for society at large.
I agree. I think the society we've built with, like, if you're just looking at 100% pure bottom line capitalism, it's not working. It's screwing our country. And I've got kids, and I don't want them to grow up where they have to be worried about finding a decent job because the economy's shattered. And that's going to be what happens unless all of the industries start taking this, okay, what other bottom lines do we have?
Well, this is what you're building, assumably, to pass off to them, right? This would be your legacy to give them one day something that was built into a full business that supports multiple families for many years to come. This is what I think about, so I imagine it's the same thing you're thinking about. It's not just about paying rent tomorrow, but what are we actually working for in the big picture? Because if we're just working to pay the mortgage or the rent or the car payment, then, I don't know, we're falling short of life's goals.
I need passion in my life, and that doesn't do it for me. There's got to be an element of something that drives you, and money is not my driver. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want money, though. I want money to be able to shop at Whole Foods and be able to buy ethically farmed food. That's expensive. Right. Morals are expensive, and I'd love to be able to contribute that. That's not what's going to make me ultimately happy as a person.
So if we hypothetically could fast forward 20 years or 30 years, maybe even 15 years, and you're getting ready to pass this business off to your children or the next in line, what advice or what lessons of life would you say you've learned from starting this business that you think would be most crucial for other people wanting to start a business in this industry or out of this industry? It doesn't matter. Not everything has to be a cannabis industry, but just in general, going through the startup stage, have you already identified one or two things that would just be absolute lessons an individual should take away?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone tells you it's going to be much harder than you expect. Believe them. And I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen the kind of graph where it's got people expectations of success. It's just an arrow going straight up, and then the reality where it fits in valleys. It's not going to be a straight road. There's going to be days where it's just going to really suck, and there's going to be days where you're going to be horribly discouraged. But then you just got to kind of keep your head up and keep working. If you believe in it, you'll have good days too.
Do you have a mentor or somebody that keeps you on path, that keeps you motivated, that's there to listen, there to give advice?
I do. I did mention my business mentor who's on the board of directors. He's there for really sound advice. He's great. He's great if I want to have my ideas shredded and hold poked in them. But you need that. Then I have one of my investors actually is a business coach. And so I've gotten some kind of great, more kind of, okay, how do I delegate weekly tasks? How do I make sure the business, I'm accomplishing something every day? So she's awesome for that. And then I have another friend who's a mentor as well, and he's given me some really sound business advice. He does tech mentoring. Actually, he is a tech mentor, and so he's kind of given what he would tell a tech startup, giving me the same advice, and it's very applicable. So
nice. And I've been reading some articles, and I've heard many times before that having a mentor can sometimes be the breaking difference between successful companies and people and unsuccessful. Is simply having that additional person there to take you through the steps or to listen to you and to be there by your side versus truly trying to do it all alone on your own. So how are we going to get to the next 20 years so you can pass this company off?
Well, if I would I'd like to spin off that mentorship. If there's anyone out there listening, I actually would love, and I'm openly in the market for some cannabis mentors. That's where we need it. That's where we're weak. I've got some really strong business mentors, guys who know startups. My lawyer as well. My lawyer knows startup law backwards and forwards and investments. But what I need is cannabis-specific mentoring. So if anyone's listening, I would love the opportunity to talk. And so if we're going 20 years, so business, one of the good things that we offer is, unlike a company actually directly touching cannabis, is I can cross state lines because we don't actively touch cannabis. In 20 years, I want to be the number one go-to solution for smoking flower while you're on the go. Like people say, when I say K-Cup, you know what it means. There's different competitors, but if I say K-Cup, you can envision anyone. I want disposables to be refill pods, any of my competitors to come after. I want disposables to kind of be like, the Q-tip, the cotton swab, or the Kleenex. We want to brand it so everyone knows pod type cannabis consumption. They're going to call them disposables from now on.
That's a great vision, just as any other. And I agree with you on that. Most of us are unable to distinguish brand name from product description, like you're saying Xerox, Kleenex, and so forth. So that's definitely a good goal. What about personally? Where would you like to see yourself, 20-some years from this?
I want to be Roger Sterling. I want to make sure I'm on with the company. Are you familiar with Mad Men? You're laughing, so hopefully you are. I'll have my white hair. I'll have my corner office, and I'll be responsible for the image of the company. And I say Roger Sterling. I should say Ben Cohen. I will be Ben Cohen and be able to travel and talk about social issues and how my company is supporting the betterment of society while I have a big expense account and keep relationships with the old guard going. That's my vision.
Well, I like that vision. That sounds like a pretty cool vision. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you were wanting to talk about?
No, I mean, you had some great questions. I think you picked my brain rather clean.
Very good. Do you have an exact website or something at this point that you want to give people?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Like I said, our social media guru, he's on the ball. We're on Twitter and Facebook at Disposables, DISPOSABOWLS. And then our website is www.disposables, DISPOSBOWLS.co, like Colorado, not .com.
Very cool. Well, I appreciate it, Lauren. This has been great, and I hope that we can continue to have conversations in the future to keep updating on what's going on in your business. You can keep informing us on how you're changing and modifying and learning. This is the kind of stuff that I want to bring out to the community, so let's please stay in touch. I don't know, every few months or so, let's sit down and talk more about your business and see where you've advanced.
That sounds great. I can't wait to hear some of your back episodes where I hear some other entrepreneur stories, because what a valuable service for those of us starting up.
Oh, yeah. If you go to previous shows, you will find everything from dispensary owners to growers to patients to product manufacturers to I've interviewed the whole spectrum of individuals, so there's something for everybody on previous shows. Thanks for listening to this week's show. Make sure to come back next week. We're going to have more guests lined up, speaking with dispensary owners, growers, business owners. Make sure to follow us on all of the social media, Facebook, Google+. You can listen to our shows live from the website or your preferred listening platform. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, even YouTube, all under the same name, CannabisCommunityProject.com. We'll see you next week.